Imagine walking across a silent land where a faint breeze carries the scent of dust aged over thousands of years, a heavy silence not born of emptiness, but of civilizations that once stood proudly and then vanished without a sound. Beneath your feet, hidden beneath layers of clay and forgetfulness, sleeps an entire world. A world uncelebrated by triumphant kings, unsung by epic poets. A world that left no thrones nor conquerors behind. Instead, it left us something far more haunting, silence. A dense, solemn silence, as if they lived, built, dreamed, and chose to leave without demanding remembrance. Today, as you step onto the ancient grounds of Mohenjo-Daro, you do not simply see ruins. You face a question carved into the very stones. Who were you? And why did you leave without a farewell? The streets are mapped with unnerving precision. Broad avenues breathing into narrow alleys that feed into open courtyards, all perfectly aligned to a plan now lost to time. No towering palaces, no triumphal arches, no statues boasting of victories won. Instead, everything whispers one profound truth. Harmony can be a greater monument than power. In the heart of what we now call the Indus Valley, a civilization rose, one that chose to build not with swords, but with wisdom. One that chose to exist as a passing breeze, leaving only traces upon the earth and a memory woven into silence. In the world of the Indus Valley, you would not find grand palaces perched atop hills, nor temples clawing at the skies. You would not see walls painted with the blood of enemies, nor monuments screaming the names of forgotten kings. Instead, you would find order, cities designed with an intelligence so deliberate, so intricate, that even today they baffle modern architects. Wide, straight streets cut through the cities like veins through living flesh. Alleys branch with precise geometry. Neighborhoods laid out not by chance, but by an invisible hand of logic. Underneath the houses, hidden from sight, lay complex networks of baked clay pipes, early sewer systems, so sophisticated that many parts of the ancient world would not see their like for millennia, and the houses themselves, humble, functional, equal, no towering mansions, no palaces of gold, no walls protecting the cities either, as if they had no fear, or perhaps no need for fear. Where were the kings? Where were the armies? Nowhere. It was as if this civilization quietly, deliberately chose a path where leadership was not stamped into stone, but breathed through the cooperation of its people. Perhaps councils ruled, perhaps collective wisdom prevailed, or perhaps most wondrous of all, they lived without rulers altogether. A city, a culture, a dream sustained, not by conquest, but by shared harmony. A whisper against the howling winds of history, reminding us that power is not the only path to greatness. In the dust-laden bazaars of Mohenjo-Daro, amid the scent of spices and the clang of copper tools, artisans carved not just goods, but messages for the ages. Seals, small, intricate, heavy with purpose, carved into each. Animals, some familiar, some otherworldly. A taut bull muscles frozen mid-charge, a solemn unicorn poised between worlds. Elephants, crocodiles, birds, each detailed with reverent hands. Above these creatures, strange inscriptions dance, neither true script nor mere symbols, but something between a language and a hymn. Scholars have bent their lives trying to understand them. Linguists have compared them to every ancient writing, Sumerian, Egyptian, Minoan, and failed. The seals remain silent, the code unbroken. Were they records of commerce, prayers whispered to forgotten gods, or poems of a lost soulscape? No one knows. Perhaps they were never meant to be understood by us. Perhaps they are not a riddle to solve, but a feeling to experience. Imagine an entire civilization choosing to whisper through stone to listeners not yet born. Each seal a frozen breath of a people who lived with a different sense of time, a different understanding of permanence. A message etched not for the mind, but for the heart that remembers how to listen to silence. Not every civilization ends with a sword in its chest. Not every story concludes in fire. Some simply fade. The Indus Valley civilization did not fall to invading armies. It was not erased by the wrath of foreign kings. Instead, it vanished like a whispered prayer lost in the wind. Around 1900 BCE, the rains weakened. The mighty rivers, the Indus, the Gagger, began to retreat. The land cracked and crumbled under the breath of a harsher sun. The crops shriveled into dust. The fields grew silent. The once bustling cities slowed, then stilled. But there was no desperate last stand. No fortresses crumbling under siege. No signs of violence or sudden destruction. Instead, there was departure, house by house, market by market, one family at a time, one empty street after another. They did not scream into history. They bowed to the changing earth and left. The granaries emptied. The kilns cooled. The seals, those silent messengers, were abandoned on dusty floors. It was not defeat. It was wisdom. A rare wisdom. To know when to move on. To understand that survival sometimes means surrendering with dignity rather than clinging in vain to a dying dream. The Indus Valley did not die in war. It dissolved like mist as the sun rises. A civilization that chose not to fight its ending, but to honor it. Today, walking the abandoned streets of Mohenjo-Daro, you do not hear the roar of fallen armies, nor the chants of triumphant kings. You hear a whisper, a question, a memory. In every crumbling brick, in every silent well, in every forgotten courtyard, their presence lingers. The Indus Valley people did not carve their glory into mountains. They did not build monuments to scream their names across time. Instead, they left behind something subtler, something deeper, an idea that cities could rise without war, that societies could flourish without tyranny, that power could be wielded without cruelty, and order could exist without chains. In a world that glorifies noise, they chose the music of silence. In an age obsessed with conquest, they chose collaboration. Their legacy is not written in triumphal arches or broken spears. It's written in the careful alignment of streets, the gentle flow of water through ancient pipes, the seals that whisper messages no storm could erase. They ask us now, will you listen? Will you learn from the civilization that spoke without shouting, that lived without conquering, that dreamed without demanding remembrance? Or will we too be forgotten, not because we lacked strength, but because we failed to understand the wisdom of humility and the power of silence? Their story is, hit subscribe and join our journey through the secrets of the past.